Me.
Well, with me is Navin Singh Khadka, who's environment correspondent for the BBC World Service. Navin, just give us the extent of how bad these storms have been.
Well, it's been really bad. As you said, the figures are still climbing up. And officials are saying that just last month, a similar storm was there, but only around 19 killed. So you see, it's huge. And there are reasons. First of all, what happened was the strongest of winds hit when it was night, when people were sleeping indoors. That's number one. And the second thing was what's called as downbursts. So the winds were not blowing horizontally, but vertically, coming down from up. So that means they were literally hitting those structures and buildings. And that's why you see this. And then, not to forget the moisture coming in from the easterly winds from Bay of Bengal. That converged with this wind, and then now you're seeing lashing rains in the greater part of towards the east.
You mentioned storms last month. How unusual was this kind of weather phenomenon at this time of year in this area?
Well, this is quite usual. Pre-monsoon, that part of India, northwest, desert area. So you see, you get to see these kind of things. But the extent, the intensity is on the rise. And this was quite extraordinary because of these reasons. But the long-term prediction by scientists, especially in the context of climate change, is that this is going to get stronger and it might be the new normal.
That's extraordinary. So the issue of climate very much coming into what we've just seen happen in India.
Yes, so the global context of climate change, what's happening to the atmosphere, what's happening to the ocean currents, how these winds are behaving, and so on and so forth. And also not to forget, India officially has been announced 25%, a quarter of the total land of this country is undergoing desertification. Now that intensifies storms like this. So when you have powerful winds coming in, and that whips up all the soil and mud and whatnot. And so desertification is another huge issue. And not just India, across the border in Pakistan, there's a town called Nawab Shah. Just last Monday, as a prelude to this, that town recorded 50.2 degrees Celsius, a record in April. So the entire region is baking now, and that's why temperature, moisture, and what scientists call agitated atmosphere. This is the concoction of storms like this.
Navin, just looking at the scenes that we've been showing, how are the authorities coping and their extent of how they're going to cope in the future if this gets even worse?
They have admitted that it comes as a surprise because they have seen storms like this, but not to this intensity, this extent. And so, as a result, the preparedness is in question. How advanced warning are you able to issue, and so on and so forth. They are learning lessons, they admit that. But again, the concern is because in the wake of climate change and all these regional things that I talked to you about, this is what they say is only going to get worse.
Navin Singh Khadka, thank you very much, environment correspondent for the BBC World Service.